question. How many of you know what letter comes before J? I'll give you guys a few seconds to answer. Okay, who knows? How many of you sang the ABCs in your head while trying to figure it out? Yeah. So, well, today I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to outline why it's important to incorporate music in education. I'm pretty sure you guys learned your ABCs singing them. They didn't like they didn't give you a book and say, here, read these and learn them. They just sang them with you, and the rhythm of the song, it made it catchy for you to remember it. So the three main points I would like to talk about is how music helps develop language, how it helps learn pattern recognition, and lastly, I would like to give like some personal experience that I've had with students that I've been in the classroom with. So the first topic I'm going to be talking about is showing you how incorporating music in education can help develop language and training. So students who have early musical training are more likely to develop in areas of the brain that is related to language and reasoning. The left side of the brain is better developed with music and songs that can help imprint information in your mind. So according to the Children's Music Workshop, the effect of music education on language development can be seen in the brain. Recent studies have clearly indicated that musical training physically develops the part of the left side of the brain known to be involved with processing language and can actually wire the brain's circuits in specific ways. Linking familiar songs to new information can also help imprint information on young minds. So basically, the right side of your brain focuses on stuff like math, language, like more important stuff, and the right side of your the left side of your brain is more for creativity. So if you mix those two together and like have music with language and math, and like you're working both sides of your brain, so it's going to help you become like a better thinker, and it's going to help you remember things more than if you were just to be reading them and not actually implementing them into like in a way that you can remember them. So I would also like to talk to you about how music helps learn pattern recognition. So we all know that toddlers love to dance and move, right? The key to toddler music is a repetition of songs. So a lot of the songs that are played for toddlers, it's like if they're learning vowels or something like that, most of the time they're repeating them in the song so they can like memorize them, and when they're on doing a test or something, they start singing that song in their head. And they're like, oh, this is what this is, and that's how they memorize their stuff that they're learning. So, according to National Association for Music Education, children can develop their math and pattern recognition skills with the help of musical education. Playing music offers repetition in a fun format. So, and also according to Dr. Kyle Pruitt, clinical professor of child psychiatrist at Yale School of Medicine and a practicing musician, language competence is that the root of social competence. Musical experience strengthens the capacity to be verbally competent. So this ties back to like what I asked you in the beginning, like who knows what I comes before J. When implementing something like the ABCs with rhythm and music and stuff like that, it becomes easier for students to remember them. It's not like I said, they're just like singing them in their head. So when it comes to like a quiz or something, they're just like, oh, I remember it now because like my teacher sang me that song yesterday, so they're singing it in their head. It's easier for them to succeed on tests because of the fact that they just have the rhythm in their head and they can just sing along to it and then know what the answer for the test is. But I know many people may argue that music is just distracting from the actual importance of school, such as maybe like math that is important for us to know. However, implementing music into the classroom helps develop students' academic performance in the classroom. The journal Nature showed that when groups of first graders were given music in instruction, that the emphasize sequel skill developed and musical were like they taste people who were, they had a group of students who were taught like with music, like singing and stuff like that, and they scored higher and developed developed the way of thinking more than students who were just sitting in the classroom listening to lectures rather than the whiteboard. And also, I know for example, I worked at a preschool for 2 years as a helper, and one day a teacher came up to me and she said that there was a certain student in her class that really didn't know the days of the week, and they were going to be tested on it at the end of the week. So she asked me if I can sit down with him to help him like learn them, and I said, yeah, I would do that. So I sat down with the kid and I started the same way I started with you guys, asking him what comes after Wednesday. And he could not tell me, he didn't even know. He was like thinking like so hard, he just didn't know. So I said, okay, so how can I make this for him, make it fun for him so he can learn it, and when it comes to the test, he'll memorize it. So I did that. I started singing the song with him and like adding rhythm to it. So at the end of the week, I went up to him and I said, hey, what comes after Wednesday? And he sat there and he was like singing in his head, moving his little head like that, and he's like, oh, Thursday. And I said, oh, good job. And then from there on, every time I would ask him, he would just sit there and sing the song in his head to come up with whatever I had asked him. So I think incorporating music into education is important. It is something that should be implemented into schools, because I feel like it's an effective way to help students learn better rather than just sitting on a desk, taking notes, looking at a whiteboard. It's more effective to have them be actually active, singing and doing activities like that. Thank you.
Savannah, you here? All right, well, the rhetorical question and the demonstration that you had at the beginning I thought was an effective attention device. The topic's clearly identified. You do preview the supporting points, but they're all phrased like informative points instead of declarative arguments. I think that that's a little bit problematic. The ideas explained, you kind of go through what the process is on a lot of this, which, like I said before, sounds very informative in nature. If there's a shortage of using music in teaching or helping kids develop in the classroom, you need to talk about that. I think otherwise you're just kind of describing things that go on. I like your personal story that you tell at the end. I think that adds a little bit of ethos to your presentation. I do think that you've got information in the speech. You almost always cite the sources for that information. The problem is it's always really obvious when you're citing that information because you go right back to reading it and it sounds like you're reading it for the first time. You really need to do a lot more practice. You need to be kind of engaging us a little bit more. When you just talk to us, you do a much better job, but every time you have to give the source citation, you look down, you read it, it sounds like it's coming out like you've never seen these words before and haven't practiced them, and I think that really undermines your credibility. There is another side to the room. Those folks might want to be spoken to occasionally. I know that maybe over here you've got a friendly face or two and you get interested in talking to them, but you know, they're not too scary. You know, talk to them too. All right, thank you.